Alright guys, got the drag car back out. The weather's cooling off, so we only have a couple more runs, but I just wanted to get it out because it's the last somewhat nice day. I think the temperature is like 12 degrees right now, so it's definitely dropping and getting cool. A little bit of changes. The front carbon fiber plate, just to extend my weight forward, I took the weight off. We're just going to run it with whatever it has at the moment and see if it'll get down. I also have all of my tires prepped, so I heated them twice and prepped them twice with the Get Stuck WAP. Both are conditioned and prepped. They should be good. They're still warm, that's why they're in the case. Like I said, it's only 12 degrees. I'm going to start off with a low tune 66 on 34, and then I also did a little bit something different here. I put the traction compound down, just the cheap stuff that I had from before. I put that down, kind of let it sit. Hopefully I can get a hard launch off of that, but I want to see how it launches today. I want to see if I have to add weight, whatever. I'm trying to go for a fast top speed today. I do have my charger, so as long as the surface is good and the temperature is good, the car should hit really fast. Putting on the Proline reactions that were double heated and double conditioned, so they are super sticky. I don't know if it's gonna hit off of this right now. I put brake clean on it, but it's still, yeah, it's too slick right now. So we're just gonna heat the tires and then move on to the side over there. Uh-oh. So my diff just slipped, which could be a good thing for traction, meaning that we just have a lot, or it's going to be a problem that continues throughout the whole day. But we are going to run the GPS. The traction is also set to 30% rather than 50. So right off the hit, what I'm seeing is it's a 3.1. Now that was a super soft launch though, which means 3.19, so basically 3.2, which means we're going to turn that up, doubling it, and we are now using reactions. The high is still set on 1 because when it came in I think it was fine, but you can see that red acceleration mark when it came straight up. That's when it kind of came, and then poof, I want that line way back. So bump that up, let the car cool down a little bit, get these tires nice and prepped, and then we'll get it back out. All right, since it's nice and cool out today, I can kind of do some double runs with it and not really test the temperature of the motor. So I'm gonna get these tires just a little bit warm. Yeah, they're still super sticky. Not even gonna prep them again. I'm just gonna make another hit right away. So let's get this GPS set. See what it'll do. This is 2 times the amount of launch. So she's got a little heat in the motor, but so 4 volts per cell. Like I said, I do have my charger. These first couple hits I'm trying to just get it a little bit dialed, but 128, so it is a little bit hot, but it's not like boiling. The motor is sitting at 100, so let the ESC kind of cool off a bit. I'm gonna get some WAP on these tires because they're pretty much gone. They're very slick now. So as this sits with the tire prep, I do have, these are just wheel weights, like designed for a vehicle. I'm gonna stick probably 4 onto the front here, just to give it some weight so it doesn't want to kick up. That's what this new plate is kind of designed for, that I can stick weight where I want it to. It was going left. I'm gonna go a little, no, I'm gonna go close to dead center. Just, you know, it's, I don't even know, 7 grams per, so it's not a ton of weight, those 4. So it's 28 grams, but we'll see. Like, this was the stick of weights I had to use before because there's no leverage on the front. So that was what I was using when I was running with the guys. So because the car got squirrely on me last time, I want to turn down this, the traction right off the hit. But here's what I'm thinking. That doesn't make sense to me to do that right now because the tires were 2-time ran, so they weren't prepped as well. There's heat, and I didn't add any weight. So I'm gonna see what the changes are, and then I'll adjust my traction off the line. But I'll get some heat in these tires and then see if it takes it. If it takes it down a full rip, then we know we can add more. If it doesn't, we'll probably back it off or adjust suspension. Okay, so I see a problem. This tire is spinning, this one is not. I'm wondering if my diff is... My diff isn't locking the way that I want it to. It's 1 million up front, back there, but it's not doing exactly what I want it to because it's not spinning that one left tire, which means I might be low on diff fluid, or I do have a locker that I could also try. I could do that, but I want a little bit of slip just to give it, if it goes one way, it'll kind of counteract that going one way. So I don't want to add the locker, but I can if I have to. But let's see what it'll do. Okay, it's going right consistently. I'm gonna add weight to the right rear shock. Hopefully we can get that right rear out of it, because it's done that I think 3 times now. So the weight isn't really gonna make a difference, but we are going to I might even open up that transmission because it's not doing what I want it to do. But I'm gonna add the weight first in the right rear and hopefully get it to stop walking to the right. So look at how stupid I am. I have a diff locker and I have another diff, courtesy of the guys from the place that I go dragging with. They gave me a brand new diff that I could have put the locker in. I could have not had this issue today. I could have just had this, swapped it in, perfectly fine, but of course I didn't. And I even have all the parts. So just goes to show, if you're not prepared, you really eat it when you're not. But I'm gonna jump up to a pretty hefty right spring because it's doing it really hard. If I have to back it out, then I'll back it out. It's not a big deal. But add it to the right rear because I'm pretty sure it's the right rear doing it. It is on a floater suspension up front, so I don't see that really having an effect. So we're gonna try it on the right rear and push it from there. Might even charge the battery after a couple hits, but get the body back on, get it back out. If it goes right again, we're gonna have to adjust a couple things. All right, we got the shock adjustment in. I'm not seeing these tires do exactly what I want them to do right now. I think it's just a lack of heat. So I'm gonna bump it back down 10% more or 10 points out of my traction off the line. So now I'm running at 50 rather than 60. I wanna see if it's more fluid going through. Yeah, the tire's not moving at all. So the right is getting heat and the left is not. That will be a big issue today. It definitely will be a big issue today. If it goes right again, it's the diff. So we'll get drag going. Here we go, and crank it. That was promising. It lifted up right away, so that's indicating to me now that the springs are stiffer. I'm gonna need more weight up front to hold it down. Or I can take, if we think about it, I can take all of the weight out of the springs, so it squats a lot more, but then it's gonna risk hitting the wheelie bar. If it hits the wheelie bar, the front end's gonna come up anyways. So I think I'm gonna tear that transmission apart. I'm going to let the battery charge as I do that. I'm gonna add more weight to the front and possibly switch to my my DragWorks yellows. Now I know that that's a lot of changes up front, but I've done this a couple times. I know kind of what it will take and what it won't, but I know that that diff right now is not working. I'll try and give you guys a little bit better of a view, but it's gonna be hard. So if you can see inside of there, the left isn't moving as fast. It'll do one more time. Okay. So that time, if you notice, I didn't put any load on the suspension. Usually I'll kind of squat it so it's already in that sweet spot zone. I didn't do that this time, and it took it a lot better than I thought. So that kind of changes it, but it also works with what I'm thinking with the diff, is that if it's loaded up and it's getting that traction, one tire is spinning, which would be the right tire is spinning faster than the left, which would be pushing it or pulling it to the right. So I can try just unloading the suspension right off the bat, but I'll kind of think about it. I am going to set this battery on charge because it is probably getting a little bit low, and think about taking that whole transmission apart. All right, so I got everything popped open. The diff actually feels fine. Feels like there's lots of fluid in there. It feels okay. I'm going to crack it open. I'm probably just going to go right to this new housing, and then I'm also going to throw, oh no, shoot, I thought I had 20 million on me. I guess I don't. I only have 1 mil. Damn. Okay, that's rough. Well, everything feels fine, but it definitely needs a thicker fluid. So I don't know, I'll crack it open anyways since I'm already here, but I guess we're just going to top it up with 1 mil, even though I thought I had 20 mil, which would have been probably ideal today. So it is what it is, I guess. Okay, we got it cracked open. It is a little bit low, so I guess we'll just top it up, and I'm not going to replace all the fluid right now. I'm just going to top it up because I don't really care about this diff. Like I said, I have other parts, but we're going to stuff some of this in there and really top this thing up. Now that I got just plain old 1 million back in there, this is another trick that I just recently started doing, is because my transmission was kind of binding. I just put a tiny bit of like bearing oil in there, just a couple dabs, nothing crazy. Just, I found grease doesn't necessarily work as good as I thought it would or wanted, but this bearing oil really does work good. So I now stick that in there, and yeah, just like that, put it back together. Battery's almost charged. I am going to swap over to my drag works, and then hopefully we'll make a little bit of a harder hit. Here's also another little tip. All this little dust, this is a detail factory, like a car detailing brush, but it works so nice to get into all these little cracks, just to make sure all of your stuff's nice and dusted off and perfect when you put it back in. This brush works amazing, especially off these little tight spots like this. There's a rock in there. I'll get my pick and I'll take it out, and then I'll brush it out. It's just really nice. This is definitely something I would recommend picking up. I think they're like 30 bucks or 20 or 30 bucks, but they are super nice. Makeup brushes also work really well for that. So if you got a girlfriend and you want to steal some makeup brushes, get on it, because it works really good. All right, now that we kind of got the bugs out with the old tires, we put these insanely sticky Dragworks yellows on. They're super soft compounds, so they should hook up nice. I want to hear that just tire screech. I'm also going to look into my tune, so I'm going to probably just bump it up to 55. I want to see if it'll hit. I want to see if that diff is still going to be a problem, which I kind of think it will be. If it does hit, then we're golden. If it doesn't hit, then I'm gonna have to look into some suspension tuning, because that's really the only thing that I'll be able to change at the moment. I might just have to adjust my shocks inward, kind of get the back end lower and a little bit softer. Also a little bit faster response time out of those shocks. If they're standing straight up, there's less of a response time and they're a little bit stiffer. So kind of what I'm seeing as an option right now is to just loosen the rear shocks up, but also limit the amount of travel so it's not riding the wheelie bar the whole time. But we're gonna get this out, and these tires, if these tires are good, they'll make a fast hit right away. So I'm gonna put a little bit of load into it, turn the GPS on, and we'll see. GPS signals poor, of course. There we go. Okay, 55 launch, new diff fluid. The right suspension has been changed and new tires. This should ideally go fast. Definitely did. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn down that launch because it wanted to hop right away. Turn that down to a 48, put some heat in the tires, knock off all the dust and crap. Okay, tires are warm. Here we go. All right, I'm not gonna preload it actually. Here we go, we'll set GPS again. A little bit less of a launch. Stop, drag. Here we go again. Still wants to go right, which is not promising. All right, it wants to run right. I have an idea because I want to know the result of it. This wheelie bar, everyone is saying the wheelie bar is the issue. The wheelie bar is the issue. You have a dual wheel wheelie bar. It's a stock. There's a lot of flex. Once it hits, it goes wherever it wants because if it hits the right tire first, it'll go right. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to eliminate the wheelie bar and take it right out. That way I'll know if I'm actually getting enough traction. If I'm slipping enough, I can also play with the slipper. I haven't done that in a while, but I can, and it's an option. So I'm going to take the wheelie bar straight off. We're running no bar, and we'll see if we can kind of tune to where it just wants to glide and really see if that suspension is working. If it's still going right, we know for sure it's the suspension. If it's not, we know it's the wheelie bar. A simple thing, but it tells you a lot of information. Okay, a little bit of heat in the tires. I really want this to work. Let's see, I am gonna run a GPS just in case it decides it wants to fly. But I really am hoping it doesn't go right. Still going right, still going right. So what happened is it came and it lifted. So when it went, it bounced, it lifted, which is kind of telling me I should just take some out of the rear suspension, especially now that it's that it doesn't have a wheelie bar. I can take a lot out of that suspension. I'm gonna leave it just so it's high and just hit it again. Yeah, going right. So I'm gonna mess with the suspension, take it out of it, but it didn't want to wheelie, which is nice to see. It wants to go right still. So I gotta add more weight to the right or take out weight on the left, which I'll probably take weight out of the left. Okay, all I did, I actually took weight out of both of the shocks in equal amount. So now the car is sitting a lot lower, so there's no difference in left to right. But I want to see if softer suspension won't ride that car up and kick those tires. I am going to try and run on the prep. Well, prep. It's not really prep, but we'll just see. I also turned down the launch just a tiny bit. Going right again. Okay, we will put more on the right. So I am actually liking what I seen on that last run, is that the car squatted a lot heavier than, and that was really what I was going for. I want to see that car squat when it goes, but it needs more on the right. I am going to add a little bit more tire conditioner because these tires really don't have any left on them. Just clean them with some brake clean. So I'll get them conditioned. I'll probably add half back to the right shock. So not as much, definitely not as thick. See what that does. I can also adjust the shocks inward if I really see fit, which I might, but I want to test what this just adding weight will do. And then if we have to, I can move some actual weight around. If I need more on the left side, say, I could put a little bit on the left front or whatever. So get these up and then add a little bit of weight. As you can see, they're already off balance. So the right already has a lot more than the left, but it needs more. Also take this boulder out of it. That would not be good on the next run. But yeah, it's slowly getting there today. It's kind of being a pig today. Okay, here we go. Tires are prepped. They've been sitting for a little bit. That's the noise that I want to hear. Right there. Give it a little bit of squat. I added just a little shim to those shocks. We'll see if that does anything. Okay, that's promising. Straight up wheelie. Hit hard, but it didn't go right, which is nice to see. So now I can probably mess with a P curve, which is probably what I'll do. I haven't really messed with any curves at all, but I'm just gonna activate one and see if a P curve will do anything. Now, like I said, like, I don't know if it will, but we're starting on 10, 13, 20, 35, and then 61 right out of the gate. I'm gonna leave my throttle speed control just the same, so a low launch, and see if that P curve will take any of that wheelie out of it. Because if we can get a wheelie out of it using a P curve, not only would that be sick, but it should be fast. Yeah, and those tires are ready to go. So here we go. I don't know what this will do, to be completely honest, but we'll drag, start, P curve is on. Oh man, that would have been such a hit. That would have been a crazy hit. Okay, well, that was absolutely super promising. I lowered the P curve off the top end down quite a bit. Wow, a couple points. And hopefully that'll take it out when it wanted to do that wheelie. Yeah, that launch is much slower. It's much nicer. We'll get it going again with a little bit less on that P curve. I did lose a body clip, but I'm not too concerned. Squat her down. So now rather than the 30%, I'm in the 20s. And rather than the 60%, I'm in the 50s. So about a couple percent each. We'll just see if I can take it out a little bit further. Still wants to go right. So now, seeing that the car doesn't like the wheelie bar and it likes a P curve, we're gonna start messing with this. I know it's gonna be super hard to see, but we're 8, 15, 23, 35, and 53. I'm not really too concerned about the percentages. I'm mostly just concerned about how that graph looks, and that it's continuous and that it's smooth coming up. There's a little bit of a hump at the start just to get it past any of the electronic anything, any bugs in that, the resistance of the battery, anything like that. So there's a little hump and then it comes straight up. So I'm hoping that it's not too much, but I prepped with WAP again to get stuck. I added a little bit of front weight, so we should be able to plant this car and just haul with it. So let this tire conditioner set a little bit. Suspension seems to be okay. I might have to do a little bit of adjusting on it, but for now we're gonna run it and we're gonna see what we can do with this P curve without adjusting this rear shock. If anything, I'll add just a tiny bit to that right rear, but I want to make one hit and then we'll move past depending on what the car does. All right, well, let's get the car out, see what it'll hit. The tires are okay. I'm gonna do a little burnout on this prep. Okay, it's liking it, it's liking it. Give it a little bit of lift, but it's sitting in the shock bed right now, so should be okay on that. Yeah, well, I really don't know what's gonna happen, but let's see. Woo, it was nasty. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add a ton of weight to the front. I wanna see if this P curve is good. I'm just gonna bunch a whole lot of weight right on the rear, or on the front, sorry, to keep that nose down. Because if that suspension will hook, it has enough power with these tires and this battery, something is, yeah, it's got enough power to push through. I'm gonna add a bunch of weight to it and just see if I can just keep the car down. So taking the body off, I did find a little bit of an issue on both corners. The wing has snapped, meaning it's going to push down quite a bit. That's why I like my carbon fiber wings. They don't do that. But I'm gonna dump a whole bunch of weight, just a whole bunch of weight right on the front. I don't care if it's overweight. I want to see if a P curve will take it out, and doing this, then I will know that with the right P curve settings, I can completely, fully count on it. If there's enough weight in the car, then I know that a P curve will work. But to do it, I gotta add more weight. It's gonna be ghetto, I don't care. Then I'm also gonna prep those tires. This is, I don't even know, it's like 40 grams, 50 grams per stick. It's quite a bit of weight getting put on, but I want it just to sit and plant and go. So I'm gonna add one more. I don't even care how much weight I'm adding to this. I just want to know, is it gonna do it or is it not gonna do it? That's all I'm concerned about. There we go. I'll clean these tires, prep them up. Yeah, the front is heavy, like it will not lift that. There's no way this car will lift all of that weight. It's so much weight, and the suspension is a lot more free moving now because of all that extra weight. So get these tires clean, get it back out, should haul. So let's just fingers crossed on that. I know what people are gonna say. They're gonna say that's way too much weight. What are you doing? That weight is actually about the same amount as that big wing on the Stingray. That carbon fiber wing weighs about that much. So replacing that weight into the front should actually run fairly similar. I know it's overweight, but sometimes adding weight really tells you a lot about what your car is doing and what it can do. No, I didn't let this condition get set. But it should absolutely fly. If it's gonna do it, it's gonna do it right now. I'd almost want to put money on that. This car loves weight, so we'll see. That P curve is still in. Yeah, whoever wanted to place that bet, I think I would have won. So right off the bat, you add weight to this car, it goes to 2.9. Now, if we look at the graph, obviously that acceleration was basically nothing. So we can bump up that launch pretty considerably. So I'm gonna look into that, get some launch into it, and then make another hit. I mean, it loves weight for some reason. So right off of that run, we're gonna make another hit, and then I'll probably charge the batteries. Nice. I want it to be hot. I want these tires super hot for this run. I bumped up the launch pretty considerably, so it should get out of that hole way faster, but we'll see what it'll actually run. That last run was the first 2-second run today, so if we can get that launch dialed, I mean, we're golden. Yeah, there we go. let's get the battery charged, and the next runs should be on to a golden hit. So it is looking super promising. We'll just clean these tires off a little bit, get them conditioned while it's charging up, and it's pretty dialed right now. All right, here we go. This is the run. That should go good. It's dual conditioned, battery is charged up. I took a little bit out of the launch just to compensate for that battery voltage. It should go. I mean, it should go. I also cleaned up the groove a little bit. So with a bunch of this prep that I'm probably gonna melt off right here, I'll stick it in the groove and see if that groove will take, but we'll see if it wants to do it. Yeah, hot. Now also just give this groove a little bit of rubber. Wants to go. A little bit of squat, and hopefully with that weight and everything, if this stupid thing wants to work, then we should be good. Okay, GPS is on, tires are prepped, groove is prepped. Let's see. Whoo! So it went down. That was good. See what it hit. 2.8. Oh, that graph looked a little weird. Came up and then fell down. It's because I had to steer out of it. But that is promising. Today I'm probably not going to hit those 2.4s. But regardless, there's no wheelie without a wheelie bar. So that is pretty sick. So I'm going to give it what it wants. Just a little shim. It's probably a little bit bigger than what I was expecting to do. But give it a little bit on this right rear. And then I'm also going to turn this tune up. As I do that, I'll probably add some conditioner to it. These tires are nice and warm though. But I might just do a little coat. Clean these tires off, and then should be good to go. Yeah, there we go. Just do a little coat, and as I'm doing that, I'll go through my tuning and kind of bump everything up. I think it'll take a lot more, but if I have to steer it, that's obviously ET that is going down the drain. So give it a little bit of that shock that it wants, and then I don't know, it should be good. I don't think it's going to hit any of those really ridiculously fast times today. I just don't think the conditions are ideal for it, and not to mention the weight that's in the car just probably won't hit those crazy times. But I'm not really looking for those. I'm just out having fun. So all right, out of that suspension in, I also tuned up everything so that exponential, the P curve, will come in sooner and harder. The launch is also more, and the top end is a little bit more. Now it's not as much as the changes that I was making this morning, where it's like 20 points. They're more in the 5 point to 3 point area change. Just the faster you go, the smaller changes you want to make. But just so you know, before I was making those 20 point difference changes to get it to where the car wanted to go down this track. Every track is different, especially the temperatures and everything. It's all different. So now I'm slowly dialing it in to those small increment changes that I want to see it go a little bit faster. It's not wheeling and it went to 2.8. If we can not wheelie and go to 2.7, 2.6, that's great. Got some smoke in the tires now. We're also going to put down some rubber in the groove. Okay, hopefully with this suspension change, I won't have to go right at all, which in itself should put me in the 2.7s, but we'll see if it'll actually do it. It should be pretty damn fast right now, so let's see. Damn it. Went in the grass again, but that was promising. Still went right, but it's not as much. So what I'm thinking it's doing now is it wants to go 2.88, nothing special. It wants to go and then it kicks that tire and puts it right. So I'm not too sure. That's a pretty significant suspension change because I don't really want to run any stiffer. I really like the way that it's squatting right now. So I might add just a little bit more to that right shock, but that right shock is pretty stiff at the moment, so it's tough to say, honestly. Okay, I added another one of the same that I just added to the right. As you can probably see, that right is a lot stiffer. It's probably way more than I would actually like to see it, but we'll see if it just runs straight. Okay, these burnouts are promising. It is sticky. I'll give it a little bit of a left lean this time, just a little. But again, I don't know. That is a pretty significant suspension change. If I do have to change something, like a shock or something, like that's pretty significant. So I don't necessarily want to, but nothing has changed in the tune. We're just gonna see if it'll go straight. Yeah, there we go. Oh, 2.69. There we go. Now the speed's coming in. Now how do we get it faster? So let's let it sit. Let's clean these tires off and we'll just bump up that tune until it just can't take it anymore. We can hit more off the launch, but I'm going to pretty much just dial up that P curve, and then as well dial just everything up again. We'll see if it'll take this. I'm not too sure. Give it a little left lean again, and we'll just hit it. Incremental changes, nothing crazy, but if it takes it, it'll go faster. Yeah, took it, and it took it well. There we go. We have even more that we can put in. That P curve is still pretty low for what the car can take right now, so we're just gonna bump up that P curve. I think the launch was pretty good, but now the P curve will come in a lot harder, a lot faster. Okay, tires are prepped, tune is tuned up, and yeah, if this is a flyer lap and I hit anything more than a 2.6, that's it for today. I want to put it away on a good note, but you really never know with this thing, so yeah, she wants to pull hard. Lay down a little bit of rubber. Lots of heat, a little bit of left lean into the suspension. There is a little bit of backwind, which would also lift the rear end, which is not ideal for this. There goes my brake clean. And let's see if this takes it. This should go pretty damn fast, or it'll be just rowdy. So let's see. That was nice. That was really nice. I can put more into that easily. I wasn't looking and I ran right into a bush and it's just packed full. Let's see what it ran. If it ran something good, like I can give it more. 2.7. I'm gonna give it more. A couple more runs maybe, you know, and get some of that crap out of there. Man, look at this. I was gonna run it again, but then I looked inside. This is gonna catch fire if it catches any of this, so good thing I got my blower, because I can just blow all this out. But that's one thing that you guys should look out for, is just if it can catch fire, probably will, so make sure it's clean. Okay, the cell voltages are on 3.9, like 3.97, so it pretty much means I got like one more run. I don't really want to charge the battery again. So we're gonna do one more and call it a day, but it went up in the tune on everything. So ideally, should go real fast on this anyways. Got some smoke coming out of it. That's nice to see. Okay, one last run, one last fast run. Hopefully something will come out of this. Here we go, one last one. Well, that's gonna do it today. No wheelie bar. It actually went pretty well. Learning a little bit of the P curve. I haven't actually really done that much, so it's a learning experience, but like I said, the season's almost over. That last hit was a 2.78, so I think we hit a 2.6 today. It was actually pretty sick, especially with no wheelie bar. Like, that is pretty sick. The car loves the weight for some reason, but there is more in the tune. As you can tell off that last hit, I could bump up the tune probably 12 points and it would still take it. So the weight works. I know it's counterproductive, but it'll let you find stuff out. But today, it's done. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. The drag stuff is back, but with the snow and everything coming, the X-Max will be out. Plan on getting some better gears. You know, stick around if you want to see some of that stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe. Check out the SRC or SonRC Instagram. I put a lot of the behind the scenes stuff back there. If you guys do want any of these SRC decals, get in touch with me. Best place would be on Instagram. I can send you some out. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys' support all the time, helping me tune and everything. And yeah, make sure you subscribe because there's way more. And have a good night, guys.
This up.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, this might be the last time the car drives because I'm letting her drive it once. It's on 70% power, so I hope. Just if it goes somewhere, get out of it. You're good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, the brakes are touchy.
Fast.
Okay, I'm gonna hold the car. You're gonna do a burnout until I say go full throttle. Okay, don't go full throttle.
You said full.
Sorry, I thought I was going full. Okay, go again. Okay. Okay, fingers crossed again. See, it's tricky. Okay, one more. Oh God.
Saved it.
Okay, that's it tonight, guys. That's it. Good night.